കുറച്ച് പലരും ജോയിൻ നൗന് പകരം പ്രസന്റ് നൗന് കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ടാവും.
Requested to participate, mute your mic, please.
On आता है. Hello. 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 हाँ sir बंद है. सर बंद है. Hello.
Hello, good morning to all.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Morning. Morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
सर वो हम विशेष के साथ अमृत है ना सर?
वो
एक्चुअली मीटिंग सर का नाम स्पेल हुआ है पता है?
देखो यस होना चाहिए उधर.
करिसिद्दप्पा सर. हाँ नाम मिसस्पेल हुआ है सर.
वो ठीक कर दो.
हाँ सर वो तो बोल रहे सर. मैं कॉल किया था सर अमृत को उठाए हैं सर. वो इधर सर बोले थे. वो अपडेट कर दो. हाँ
Sir, good morning, sir. VC sir.
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning, sir. Sir, ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ತಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರು ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಿಸ್ಪೆಲ್ ಆಗೈತೆ ಸರ್, ಕರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀರಿ ಸರ್?
ಆಯ್ತು. KARISIDDAPPA.
ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ ಸರ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ
SIDDAPPA. That's it.
Sir, for me, any mistake is there, I said.
No, KARISIDDAPPA.
Okay, because that name by default the Google takes up whatever name that you have given for that particular ID.
Okay, there may be one D is missing or P is missing, something like that.
Yes, sir.
No problem.
No problem. Sir, what no problem? No, sir.
You ready to address ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ?
ಅದು ಆಂಕರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I, Professor Namita Bhatt, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Jain College of Engineering, Belagavi, take this opportunity to welcome you all for today's inaugural function, INCET-2020. Today we have the dignitaries, Dr. Karisiddappa, Honorable Vice Chancellor, VTU Belagavi, Dr. Vinit, Kotak, Vice Chair, IEEE Bombay Section, Dr. Chankya, Kumar, Vice Chair, HAC, IEEE India Council, Dr. KG Vishwanath, Principal and Director, Jain College of Engineering, Belagavi, Dr. S.V. Gopal, Principal, JCER, Belagavi, Dr. Lance Fong, Emeritus Professor, Murdoch University, Australia, Dr. Hussein Mati, Diyala University, Iraq, Alexander Mastivello, University of Sarajevo, South Europe, Professor Praveen Chitti, Dean and HOD CSE, JCE, Belagavi. I welcome you all for this inaugural function. INCET stands for International Conference for Emerging Technology, which is one of the premier conferences of Asia Pacific, exchanging technical research and emergence in technology. And also it provides attendees with a unique opportunity to share, discuss and witness research results in all areas of science and technologies and the applications. This conference is technically co-sponsored by IEEE Bengaluru section. Now, I would like to call upon our beloved Principal and Director, Dr. KG Vishwanath sir, to present the welcome speech and brief introduction about the conference, and also introduce today's chief guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor, VTU Belagavi, Dr. Karisiddappa sir.
And let's mute all videos first.
Hello, you can just give instruction to the participants to mute all audio and videos. And then request once. Already requested sir to start or what? No, just once again, there is some, you can tell technical this thing. First request all the participants to this thing and then tell sir once again. Yes. You just ask participants to mute all the video and audio, and then request sir to over to you, sir. You say, sir will start.
No, I'm not.
Don't repeat the same thing again.
No, I'm not able to hear.
Yes.
I'm not able to hear.
No, sir. When it was stopped, no, that time she has already told, and she has taken your name.
I request all the participants to please mute your audio and also keep your video off. Over to you, sir. Principal, sir. Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. A very good morning to one and all. Respected dignitaries of today's inauguration program, Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Karisiddappa, Dr. Vinit Kotak, Dr. Chankya Kumar, Dr. S.V. Gopal, Dr. Lance Fong, Emeritus Professor, Murdoch University, Australia, Dr. Hussein Mehdi, Diyala University, Iraq, Alexander Mastilovic, University of Sarajevo, South Europe, Dr. Basraj Anami, sir. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome this gathering. We are hosting this international conference INCET 2020 due to the outbreak of COVID. Under this extraordinary situation, this conference is being held virtually. This international conference gives a platform to young engineers and researchers to present their research findings, have discussions, and continue their research in the right direction. INCET-2020 received a very overwhelming response of more than 1,200 papers received all over the world. A total of 242 papers are selected by the reviewing committee and are being presented in this conference. This conference is focusing on various emerging technologies in various interdisciplinary domains. The selected papers are being presented today and also and tomorrow in various sessions. Also, we have very distinguished speakers across the globe who will deliver a talk on emerging technologies today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow. I urge all the participants to make the best use of the resources. I am also having today the pleasant task of introducing our Honorable Chief Guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor of VTU Belagavi, Dr. Karisiddappa. Dr. Karisiddappa is a doctorate in civil engineering from IIT Roorkee, having a vast teaching and research experience. He has been made a member to governing councils of several organizations such as Karnataka State Open University, Karnataka Examination Authority, Karnataka State Higher Education Council, Karnataka Biotechnology and Information Services KBITS, Board of IT Education Standards, Karnataka State Rural Development and Panchayat Raj University Kotak. Recently has been appointed as a member of the Vision Group for Higher Education and Research in Karnataka. He has a vision to transform university from a teaching-centric university into a teaching, research, consultancy and knowledge-centric university. He has a vision to create an exciting and a supportive learning environment that transforms the engineering students and inspire them to make a real difference to the society, to be the leading pioneers in the field of technical education and research, to train the young faculty in terms of curriculum delivery, teaching methodology, and assessment through VTU HR Center, and to design and deliver appropriate need-based education. And he has been the recipient of several awards. Professor T.S. is in a Lifetime Achievement Award in the year 2019 by National Environment Science Academy, NASA, New Delhi. And he has been awarded Innovative Educator Award in the year 2019. And he has been awarded the Best Administration stated by ISTE, National Council. And he has got D. Govindas Award in the 15th Kannada Sahitya Sammelana. And he has got Top Alumni Award also. And under his leadership, VTU has emerged as one of the best technological universities in the country. And with this, I welcome all participants and all the dignitaries once again to this international conference. I hope the deliberations, what will be done in these 2 days, will throw more light on the emerging technologies and will contribute to the development of the entire world. Thank you very much. Over to you, Namita.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. S.V. Gobal, sir, Principal JCE Belagavi, Dr. K.G. Vishwanath, sir, Principal and Director JCE Belagavi, and Professor Praveen Chittis, sir, Dean and HOD CSC, JCE Belagavi, to release the proceedings on behalf of all the dignitaries.
Where is that? Present.
Select the screen. please. Wait. Hold it. Hold it. Okay, Namita.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite our chief guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor, VTU Belagavi, Dr. Karisiddappa, sir, to address the gathering.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Good morning to one and all.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Many dignitaries are on the panel of inauguration program. Dr. Vinit, Kotak ji, the Vice Chair, IEEE Mumbai section. Dr. Chankya Kumar, Vice Chair, IEEE India Council. Professor Darwadkar, Director of Jain College of Engineering. Dr. K.G. Vishwanath, the Principal of Jain College of Engineering. Dr. S.V. Gorbal, Principal of Jain College of Engineering and Research, Belagavi. Professor Lance Wang, Dr. Hussain Mahdi, Professor Alexander Matavika, Professor Praveen Chitti, Dean, Jain College of Engineering. Professor Baswaraj Anami, Academic Senate Member of VTU and the expert member of this conference committee. I think there are various people who are involved in this. To name few, you have chair of various activities, general chair, conveners, conference chair, patrons, organizing chairs, organizing committee, and all the participants from various institutions, young researchers, experts from industry, experts from academia, and all my dear participants. I'm very happy to be part of this program today because of unprecedented incidents happening across the globe. Though I am in Belagavi, I connected to technology. I think this technology has helped us in solving many of the problems during this unexpected situation. I'm also very happy to inaugurate this program and say a few words as inauguration delivery address. I'm delighted to note that there are very good responses. More than 1,200 papers have been received, and 242 papers are being presented in this IEEE international conference on emerging technology, INCET-2020. As a theme is rightly coined, it is on emerging technologies, and in the next 3 days, I think young researchers and people from academics would be deliberating on data science and engineering, computational intelligence, innovative applications, communication and networking, robotics, energy, control, energy and power, electronics and automation, and many more interdisciplinary topics which have been identified by the organizers. IEEE International Conference on Emerging Technology, in association with Jain College of Engineering, I think it is a very right platform to raise some of the issues or the challenges, and otherwise I can also say opportunities created by this pandemic COVID-19. We have been hearing about newer technologies, newer goals set by the problem faced by the society. Now, we are also fortunate to have some kind of opportunities created by this COVID-19 and really we are also unfortunate for the miseries and sorrows which this COVID-19 has caused. I would say because of this, reason we have connected through these kind of platforms, digital platforms, to conduct classes, seminars, international conferences, workshops, many more things. I think this is a good idea to go into have these kind of conferences, maybe 2, 3 in a semester in each of engineering colleges through digital platforms. It is an opportunity to connect with people across the globe and share what is happening in terms of technology and also in terms of growth of technology in emerging areas. Friends, being technocrats and academicians, we have the role or the responsibility of rising to the situation, and we all should join hand in augmenting some of the problems faced by the challenges or problems posed by COVID-19 situation. As I said, though we have a lot of miseries and sorrows, somewhere it has made us to rethink about various aspects of not only life and also of education system. I do agree that whatever digital platform we are supporting, they are all complement or supplement our education system. They may not 100% replace the classroom interventions. But now the challenge is not only limited to our learning process happening, but also we must expand ourselves to the research, innovations, and new ideas. Now, this IEEE International Conference on Emerging Technology would give a way to think forward to solve some of the major problems posed by a pandemic like this. Not only this, in future. So we need to have a technology, guided knowledge, and also a blended learning to happen in education system. Being technocrats or being professionals, we have to come out with solutions of highest order and solutions of simple in nature and economical in terms of finances. So that is the challenge we have. I think next 3 days, all the participants would present papers of various kinds, and these papers have been published, and I'm also happy to note that the compendium of these papers have been released by the institution with the eminent 2 principals and the chief guests. Now, it is not the end. Once we conclude this conference, once we publish these papers, we must have a plan of action based on a white paper, and also we must strategize what is that we need to do to implement the outcome of the conference. I think the people involved in this, a group of enthusiastic personalities from IEEE and group of professors and principals from will take necessary action in implementing the outcome of the international conference and try to come up with a solution or product or something expansion to expand our learning and expand our earning in the sense the national growth. So that's how I view a conference outcome. A conference of this kind should have those kind of outcomes. So with these few words, I take this opportunity to thank Professor Vishwanath, Professor Gorbal, and the director for calling me to share some of my thoughts and to inaugurate this international conference. I am also happy to share these words and also wish all the participants all the best, and all the professors who are connected from their various countries a good luck and happy life, and let us take care of this and let us learn to live with this kind of pandemic and try to achieve the goals set by the society so that we can help each country, and as well as we can come out to solve some of the problems which are faced by the entire globe. With these few words, once again, I wish all the best to the conference, and definitely the IEEE International Conference will come out successfully. These kind of conferences are known for their standards, known for their academic achievements. I wish the outcome of this conference will go a long way in the learning as well as in terms of innovations happening across the world. So once again, I thank you all for hearing me and wish you all the best. Take care of yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us and advising us in this conference, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your influential message.
Yeah. Thank you.
It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Kumar, sir, Vice Chair HEC, who is a member of Executive Committee of IEEE Bombay section and Chair of Special Interest Group of Humanitarian Technology. He received his bachelor's degree from STESCO, Kotak University of Pune. He received his Master of Engineering degree from PMKV Engineering College, Salem, Tamil Nadu. He has completed his PhD in the field of wireless sensor networks from Shepherd School of Engineering and Technology, Allahabad, in the year 2016. Now, I call upon Dr. Kumar, sir, to enlighten us with his distinguished lecture. Over to you, sir.
Good morning to all of you. Good morning to all of you, and on the behalf of conference committee team, Jain College of Engineering, I welcome all the participants who joined this conference and taking the benefits of the real ethics of the emerging technology, actually. Honorable Vice Chancellor of VTU, Belagavi, Principal of Jain College of Engineering, my good friend and respected teacher and source of inspiration, Dr. Vinit Kotak, Mr. Sridhar, organizing committee member of this conference, Dr. Praveen Chitti, other faculty members who are involving in this conference to organize in the great level. I see and I've gone through the entire schedule of this conference and found a large number of papers received by this conference from the different areas of this country and even outside of the country. Really, it's a subject of appreciation that you people are organizing these kinds of conference in the virtual manner, and the COVID gives up opportunity to work without the physical interaction. It saves many things, saves time, saves money, and give the intention to do something new in the era. And that is also the part of the emerging technology. That is also the gives some illumination for the emerging technology. As being the part of the IEEE, we know the meaning of conference and meeting to interact with each other. And this is the very good platform to interact with each other. In this pandemic situation also, we can utilize the virtual conferences for meaning to interact with each other by going online. I think your institution provided some sort of the YouTube channels and YouTube broadcasting for this conference. So authors can connect through this, and I'm giving very thankful to all the principal and other conference committee members. They are giving the opportunity. Even they have provided some. I just discussed with the Sridhar sir and Dr. Praveen Chitti about they are giving some opportunity to the faculty. They are not able to join the conference physically. They are giving some free sessions that is available on the online. That is also the matter of the appreciation from the Jain College of Engineering. And also I am thankful to the Bangalore section, IEEE Bangalore section, Dr. Puneet and other people who is giving supports to organize this conference at your place. Again, I would like to thank you all the members, principals of this institution, and the responsible Honorable Vice Chancellor for giving me opportunity to connect with the many peoples, around 300 or 200 peoples through the virtual conference mode. So thanks of all the people who participates in this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We also have with us today Dr. Vinit Kotak, sir, Secretary, IEEE Bombay section. He is currently working at Shah and Anchor Kuchi Engineering College, Chembur, Mumbai, and has more than 33 years of teaching experience. He is alumnus of VJTI Matunga, Mumbai, from where he obtained his postgraduate as well as doctoral degrees. He is currently the Vice Chair of the IEEE Bombay section. Now, I request Dr. Vinit Kotak, sir, to present the keynote about the conference. Over to you, sir.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good morning, all of you. First of all, I take this opportunity to thank the organizers of this particular conference for have given me this opportunity to interact with such a august gathering. I also take this opportunity to welcome the dignitaries of this conference, all the delegates and the participants. Unfortunately, we are going through a very testing times and something which is beyond the control of the complete globe. But still, I'm happy and I congratulate the whole team that even in such a scenario, they were able to conduct this conference and bring all the delegates, all the dignitaries on one common platform. And here today we are actually experiencing this wonderful event. During the pandemic, as a common man, we have heard a lot of suggestions, a lot of ideas, a lot of guidance from various communities. What precautions to be taken, what are the technologies we should use, what are the medical resources that we are going to use. And I, being an active member of the IEEE community, I am honored that this particular community has been supporting the COVID-19 pandemic through the technology for which it is known for. Today, I would like to bring to your notice certain case studies of autonomous robots which were actually utilized throughout this COVID-19 pandemic from the day it started. This technology actually has been existing over the period of years, but to what extent we will be able to utilize this is what is to be seen and to be appreciated. So, to begin with, first of all, in the month of March, when the actual lockdown began, maybe in the second week of March, there was a professor, Wang Yang, who is actually a world-renowned medical robotics expert. He was the one who gave the call to action for the robotics community. Professor Guangxiang Yang is an IEEE fellow and the founding editor for the journal Science Robotics. He is also the dean of the Institute of Medical Robotics at Shanghai Jiaotong University, often called as the MIT of China. Professor Yang actually was cooped in a hotel room in the second week of March, from where he was monitoring the complete scenario of the pandemic. He had actually self-isolated himself because he had come from a trip abroad. And during his stay in the hotel room, he had only two visitors. One was the hotel employee who used to visit him only twice a day just to measure his temperature. But there was his other friend, a small wheeled robot, which actually delivered his meals autonomously. This robot used to go to the kitchen, get his food right through the lift. It used to come to the room, deliver the food, and go back. He himself, being a respected figure in the robotics community, Professor Yang was impressed by the different robotic systems being deployed as part of the COVID-19 response. And he felt that this is the time when roboticists across the world or across the globe should come together and work together. And that's where he gave a big call. In terms of the way to move forward, I think we need to be more coordinated globally, because many of the challenges require that we work collectively to deal with them. Now, this is what actually is a universal law, that collaborative efforts definitely work and they bring out more positive results. And that's actually was the meaning of this particular call. Further, a new consortium also tried to mobilize the roboticists. This was the Robotics for Infectious Diseases Consortium, or the R4ID, which explores the role of robots in the coronavirus. In fact, in 2014, when there was an Ebola epidemic in the West Africa, almost 10,000 people were killed. And people had a major concern that if at all this spreads across the globe, it will be a big disaster, because its mortality rate was almost like 50%. And at various places in the United States, various organizations came together and they conducted a lot of workshops of how roboticists could potentially be useful during the outbreak, epidemic, or a pandemic. Actually, sometimes, we learn from our own mistakes, or we learn from the situations which are created. And this was one situation in 2014 which actually opened the eyes of a lot of roboticists that yes, technology can actually work wonders during the time of any epidemic or a pandemic. And here in 2020, we actually were facing a global threat where this technology is actually doing wonders and helping the human mankind. But if you are a roboticist and you are wondering what you can do to help, then the answer lies with the Robotics for Infectious Diseases Consortium. This is the consortium which has actually been working day in and day out, and this was the consortium which actually conducted the various workshops. And leading this consortium was Dr. Robin Murphy, an IEEE fellow and professor of computer science and engineering at Texas A&M University, who had helped organize these workshops in 2014. A world-renowned expert in disaster robotics, Murphy has been directing the Center for Robotics Assisted Search and Rescue for nearly 2 decades now. This is a center which is actually working for various disaster management, and during these operations, they have used several robots for the upcoming and the help for the mankind during those disasters. And now it is actually put itself, the whole team is now working towards how this robots can work during and help us in this pandemic. Dr. Robin Murphy raised her concern that there are a lot of things every roboticist would like to know about the pandemic, but are afraid to ask. And she further insisted that it's very important for researchers to know and accept what they don't know before they get involved. It's but obvious. Half knowledge is very dangerous. So unless and until we are sure about certain things, specifically when it comes to technology, because we know that technology doesn't understand a lot of things, and it actually goes only by what it has been programmed for. So this was a major concern which she raised. She also further raised one thing, that this was not the time for us to invent some new robots, because when we are inventing certain new robots, it's but obvious we need to train those robots, we need to test those robots, and for testing we have to give it to the frontline workers. Now, in such a scenario of pandemic where the frontline workers are actually busy handling the patients, handling the whole scenario day in and day out, it will be very stressful for these frontline workers to be further stressed or further given the added responsibility of testing these new robots, whether it works, whether it doesn't work. And for some reason, if at all those robots fail, then it will be a big disaster again. So Robin Murphy gave a big shout out and informed the most effective robots right now are the robots that already exist, that people are already comfortable using, and that can scale up to be immediately useful. How correct she was, because it's not obvious that a device which we are familiar with, we don't have to spend more time in understanding the operations of it. Its only thing is that we researchers have to work towards scaling it up to a level where it can be utilized for the current scenario and how it can be useful to the human mankind. This is where Diligent is a company. Diligent Robots is a company, and they actually were supplying robots to many of the hospitals in Texas, and were making a big difference. Their robot, namely Moxie, performs repetitive chores so that the hospital staff can spend their time doing more important tasks. Like as I told you, Diligent has been supplying robots in various of the hospitals. Its robot by the name of Moxie. Moxie is a unique robot, and it's doing commercial mobile manipulation, taking supplies out of supply closets and delivering them to patient rooms, all completely autonomously. So this was one robot which Diligent felt that let us utilize this. It's already actually doing half the work needed in the pandemic situation, where our frontline nurses and clinicians who are already stressed, working day in and day out, this particular robot can at least ease off half of their work and give them more time to take care of the patients, rather than spending time in bringing material from the closets, from the stores, and supplying it to the various rooms, and so on and so forth. Moxie has been able to relieve nurses from many of their tasks, giving them more time to focus on patients. And today, that mission has a newfound meaning and purpose, definitely bringing smiles on their faces. Andrea Thomas, the CEO of Diligent Robotics, said that a robot needs to do something functional, be a utility, and provide value, but also be socially acceptable and something that people want to have around. So the most important thing is that, okay, fine, you have given them a technology, it is actually helping them out in a lot of functionalities, but to what extent it is accepted socially, because finally these are the robots which are moving around in the hospitals. So whether the patient is accepting them, whether the nurses or the clinicians are able to adopt to these particular things and are truly helping them during these testing times. Let us understand how this particular robot is working, especially in this pandemic times. Let us understand this with a small video here. I hope the audio of the video is audible.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. It interacts with the patients, it cleans the beds, it picks up all the equipments or the medicines or the stuff from the patient's room, delivers it to the stores, picks up material from the stores, refills everything needed to the patient's room. Initially, most of the times, if you have observed in this video, this robot is actually traveling only out of the patient's room. It is not entering into the patient's room till the time the room is empty. And this is what is the beauty of this particular robot. And this is how it actually helps ease off the work of a lot of nurses and clinicians and of course the doctors, and avoid social contact from the patients also. There is another company by the name of Ubitech who are also manufacturing artificial intelligent robots, and this company also modified that robots and which were actually utilized as a helping hand in COVID-19 treating hospitals. Aimbot is one of the robots of this particular company, apart from the various other robots which we will see in the future slides. Aimbot, an autonomous mobile robot developed by the Ubitech Robotics, performs disinfection tasks at the Shenzhen 3rd Hospital. Let us see how this various robots of the Ubitech AI artificial robots offer a multiple helping hand in treating hospitals during this pandemic. Some of them are guided, some of them are autonomous. Some of them are monitored in the back end. Here a warning being given that please wear a mask. It detects body temperature, sprays disinfection. Gives warning to people for social distancing. It also helps in customization, acts like a information center, distant consultations. We see multiple functions which have been conducted by these autonomous robots which are use artificial intelligence and get themselves programmed. While Robotics was another company. It's actually a company which devices customizable bots. It actually does a lot of customization as per the needs of the customer. So one of its robots, the ARI, was the one which was actually programmed and on which a lot of research is actually is done to help COVID-19 patients check their temperature and even provide entertainment, because it's quite obvious during this testing times, patients themselves get fatigued, they are stressed, they are tensed, and even many a times counseling doesn't help. And when they are quarantined specifically, that is the time when a lot of entertainment is needed, and that is where this particular robo of Pal Robotics comes into the picture. It's the artificial robot intelligence, or the ARI as they call, could be the next frontline workers. Of course, still a lot of modifications are going on this by the company. The company CEO, Francisco Ferro, is again an IEEE member. And this company is based in Barcelona. This company actually approached IEEE and the Institute newsletter team to inform that its company's arsenal customizable robots are also available for hospitals to help them during this pandemic. One model could prove useful during the pandemic was this ARI, which is a mobile and social robot that can interact with people and ask them questions. Ferro said the idea is to move fast and save lives. That is the all important part. And that's why, as mentioned, and also in the shout out of Professor Murphy, if you remember, that whatever is existing, everybody started scaling it up rather than inventing something new. And ARI is one of the classic examples of this. What the company claimed was that with the right software, ARI will be able to ask COVID-19 patients questions related to their symptoms, reducing how often healthcare workers must come into close contact with patients. Additional modifications to ARI will allow it to establish connections with e-health platforms and process patients' medical data to measure a person's temperature. Of course, it's quite obvious that normal
sir,
camera.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, your screen is not visible, sir.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Let me check my connectivity. Now is it visible?
No, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Sir, actually, you and your screen both is visible here. Yes, now it is visible.
Yeah, sir, it's visible now, sir.
Can we see this with the right software screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is visible.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I don't know, some technical snag in this. So, as claimed by the CEO, that ARI with the right software will definitely be able to ask COVID patients the related questions to their symptoms, and also reduce how often healthcare workers must come into close contact with patients. Additional modifications like incorporation of a thermal camera and other gadgets will definitely help ARI to establish connections with the e-health platforms and process patients' medical data, and of course to measure the patient's temperature. The goal for the robot is to able to participate in, such as welcoming newcomers to the waiting room, helping with the checking in forms, providing information about the consultation agenda, acting as a guide to appointments, and also offering entertainment. See how wonderful it will be, because here the total human interaction or the interception is totally avoided. There's no need of we having a receptionist at the hospital where the patient goes and asks some information. Everything will be taken care by ARI to that extent that it will also welcome them. It will also help them in filling up the basic information of their own personal data. Further, it providing information about the consultation agenda also. Like it will ask them what are the symptoms. It will also help them, guide them to which particular department it is. It will actually get them connected to the respective departments virtually from the reception room itself, where the doctor or the nurses first will diagnose them virtually itself, thus avoiding physical or contact or one-to-one contact, and thus preventing all of them from this so-called pandemic COVID-19. Not only that, by the time, suppose if the doctor wants to come and doctor says, okay, he'll come or he will be guiding that particular patient or sending some person to guide the patient to the department, till that time, ARI will also entertain that patient. So this is something wonderful. In short, after this modification, which the company is actually working and it has actually, achieved most of these features, finally ARI will be able to give patients a more personalized experience, in part thanks to the sociability of the robot and its features such as voice recognition, deep learning, and ability to read emotions. This is something wonderful, because that is what is needed during this pandemic, where people are stressed out, to understand the emotions and try to guide them as per the need of the hour. This particular robo actually was launched in 2019. This is just a clip of that launch in one of the events conducted by PAL Robotics, which was the Smart City Expo World Congress in 2019. Just a glimpse of that. To go further, helping the patients, helping the hospitals definitely is a part and parcel of this particular technology. But further, how this technology actually can help us in the other aspects also. Autonomous robots are helping kill coronavirus in hospitals, where these robots are actually helping us efficiently disinfect hospitals with UV light. Now, if we talk about ultraviolet lights or ultraviolet radiations, specifically the ultraviolet C radiations, this is nothing new to us. It has been tried and tested technology over the centuries, which is coming, which we have been experiencing. But when it comes to coronavirus, does it actually help? So what happened is, the UVD company modified its robots to a certain extent. This being a Danish company making robots, are able to disinfect patient rooms and operating theaters in hospitals. All of us know that ultraviolet lights definitely kill a lot of viruses. It disinfects, it frees the surfaces from bacteria, microorganisms, and it's but obvious that when these organisms come in the radiation zone, the complete DNA is stressed out. So, to prevent the spread of coronavirus, through hospitals, keeping surfaces disinfected is incredibly important, but it's also dirty, dull, and considering what you can get infected with dangerous, which means that we are talking about, if at all, we are trying to disinfect the hospitals manually. And that's where these autonomous robots come into the picture. We are talking about one of the examples of the UVD robots. Now, each of this robo is a mobile array of power short wavelength ultraviolet C lights that emit enough energy to literally shred the DNA or the RNA of any microorganism that have the misfortune of being exposed to them. As I mentioned earlier, the ultraviolet disinfecting technology has been around for something like a century, and it's commonly used to disinfect our drinking water, even in a day-to-day life. It will travel from its charging station through hallways, up and down the elevators if necessary, and perform the disinfection without human intervention before returning to recharge. This is the best part of it. All of us know that definitely this ultraviolet C radiations are very harmful to human beings. So suppose if this device is working and trying to disinfect a specific room and a human intervention is there, it detects that human intervention and immediately will stop, thus protecting that human being from being exposed to the ultraviolet C radiation. This particular robot actually takes not more than 10 to 15 minutes to disinfect a typical room, with the robot spending 1 or 2 minutes in 5 or 6 different positions around the room to maximize the number of surfaces that it disinfects. The robot's ultraviolet rays emits light up to 20 joules per square meter per second. That means almost at a 1 meter distance, with a 254 nanometer wavelength of light. This will definitely kill all the germs up to 99.9% without the robot having to do anything more complicated than just sit there. Now, one question arises in our mind that when this particular robot is being used for disinfecting the rooms, will this particular robot not be getting infected its own self? There is definitely a possibility of a lot of viruses getting accumulated on this device, but it being a machine, it's not obvious we can clean it at a one stretch go as compared to the dangers which a human being himself will be facing when he is trying to manually disinfect the room. So this is what the difference is, and this is what the advantage of the technology is, and how beautifully this is being utilized by the roboticists across the globe. Let's have a look of how this robot is actually trying to disinfect a typical patient's room. Of course, in this video, we'll see that this ultraviolet lights have been kept off because this being a demo, there is a human being who's recording this demo. So he not being exposed to radiations, the lights of this machines are actually kept off. UV disinfection definitely helps in disinfecting hospitals. But then during this pandemic, it's not just the hospitals that we are looking forward for disinfecting. It's also the other premises where the human interaction is there, needs to be disinfected. And that's how a Swiss startup developing company, Rovenso, has taken these robots outside the hospital domain, specifically for offices and commercial spaces, because eventually after the lockdown also, there is going to be a fear and of course a possibility of all the precautions to be taken. And that's where this robot comes into the picture, that whenever these premises are being used, they need to be disinfected immediately. And this particular company, Rovenso, co-founder and CEO Thomas Estier started thinking about how autonomous security and monitoring robots could be helpful during the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, this particular company had its own robot which was being used for security in the night, and it was monitoring the complete premise. And if you see the structure of this particular robot, specifically the bottom part, it has got typical wheels and typical angles or axles where this robot can actually climb stairs also. That's the best part of this particular robot. So the CEO thought that this is the time when let us try to utilize this robot of ours and see how it can be used during this pandemic. Adapting them for UVC disinfection seemed like it made a lot of sense. While you patrol at night, why not also lower the viral load of shared areas? Which means what? It is now becoming a dual purpose robot. Not only does it monitor or does patrolling in the night as far as the offices are concerned, the commercial spaces are concerned, but while patrolling during the night, it also disinfects, does the work of disinfection. So a slight modification was done to this robot, and ultraviolet lights were connected to this particular robot. So it does now a dual purpose of monitoring as well as disinfecting the premises. The crisis motivated to consider existing solutions for disinfection, and then understanding that those solutions are not adapted for large work offices and workshops and offices. In 3 weeks' time, this company turned their highly mobile security robot into an autonomous and efficient coronavirus destroyer. The surfaces that the robot targets include desktops, tabletops, counters, handles and handrails, equipments in common spaces. Anything and everything within the reach of this particular robot, which is available in that commercial space, gets disinfected. Let's see a demo of this particular robot, how it actually works. Now, if you see, this is the original look of this robot, which was actually used only for patrolling this premises in the night. It has got a camera here, and this is different, it's a typical design of these wheels, which helped it even climb the stairs. But how it has been converted to disinfect the premise also, along with patrolling, is what we need to see now. It actually maps the whole area, and accordingly, it increases the intensity of the ultraviolet radiations as per the need. That is the artificial intelligence which has been incorporated, embedded into this particular robot. The complete premise, the crevices, the tables, the chairs, or the walls, the parapets, everything gets disinfected. Another area of concern is travel. It's quite obvious the complete airline industry has now come to a standstill. But yes, last week or maybe just 10 days before, this particular industry has started. But then, are we not concerned if we have to travel in the airplanes? To what extent are we safe? To what extent these airlines are safe? The surfaces on which we come into contact, have they been disinfected? Have they been sterilized? Have they been cleaned up? And it's quite obvious that today this industry, the way this industry is actually moving, the stopover time between two flights or between a particular halt has also been reduced drastically. I was told when I was a child that a minimum stopover time for any flight when it lands and it halts at a particular airport, minimum time should be not less than 60 minutes. Later on, we came to a scenario where it was 60 minutes was reduced to 40 minutes. And now those who have been traveling with a stopover or with one halt or two halts, you must be observing that it's hardly even 30 minutes that they stop the plane, passengers deboard, passengers board on the flight. The cleaning happens in just a fraction of seconds or maybe just a couple of minutes, and that's it, it just takes off. In fact, we have seen in the news clippings also that now when the airline started, specifically I'm talking about the Indian Airlines, I mean the Indian carriers, we saw that there was so much of precautions being taken, so much of instruction being given, but still, to what extent they are also being able to manage this. It's quite obvious the load is so high that we can't blame them. And they themselves, being human beings, the crew members themselves being human beings, they have to themselves be taking care of their own selves. Only then they can serve their passengers. And that's where this flight of the Germ Falcon robot comes into the picture. This particular robot was designed quite some time back specifically to disinfect the aircrafts, not actually for the coronavirus, but to disinfect it from various germs, specifically from germs like or viruses like flu, influenza, etc. Because when you're traveling in the aircraft, it's quite obvious as a passenger, a lot of things you touch and they will be infected. So to disinfect these, this was a robot which was actually designed by the company by the name of Daimler. Okay, Dr. Arthur Krittenberg and his son Elliot lead this particular company, and this is a father and son duo who got some strange looks when they began the design work for the Germ Falcon, a new machine that uses ultraviolet C light to wipe out coronavirus and other germs inside an airplane. As I told you, the main crux of the whole discussion is whatever is existing, we are trying to scale it up. So this was one, Germ Falcon was already existing with this company. But then definitely certain modifications are needed to take care or to attack the coronavirus, because definitely the other viruses are different, the coronavirus is different. So this father-son duo, what they did is they used 100 amperes from a lithium iron phosphate battery pack. The Germ Falcon's mercury lamps output is so strong that the company claims the system can wipe out flu viruses from an entire narrow body plane in about just a couple of minutes. That means just 3 minutes. They're claiming that within 3 minutes, your complete flight gets disinfected. And that is the need of the hour, because it's quite obvious, as we discussed, that the flights just don't have time. They have to get cleaned up immediately when the passengers deboard, and they have to let in the new set of passengers. So in between, this Germ Falcon does its work very efficiently. One pass up the aisle, one pass down the aisle, and a minute for the bathrooms and the galley, and that's it. The complete flight has been disinfected. And this has been tried and tested in various airline services, and many of them actually were using it, as we can see in the photographs. But lacking a suitable lab for such a dangerous germ, the Daimler UVC hasn't tested the system on the virus that causes COVID-19, because it's but obvious in May, just in the third week of May, this company has started its research, and it has actually modified its robot for to check or to try it against the coronavirus. But Krittenberg expects that the dose can be easily adjusted by slowing the Germ Falcon's roll down the aisle, which means what? That if he claims that if this particular Germ Falcon is rolling down the aisle at a very slow pace, definitely the intensity of the radiation will increase to a very large extent, and every part of the flight will get more radiated, and the possibility or the probability of the coronavirus, if at all it is existing there, will be, if not completely eliminated, at least up to 90% or maybe 95%, it can definitely be effective. The company has offered Germ Falcon services free of charge to airlines operating from a handful of US airports during these pandemic. So it's just in a testing phase, and it has offered its services free of charge because the company also wants to see how effective this particular Falcon is. And it's but obvious that during this pandemic time, when the complete industry is not actually doing well economically, the company doesn't want to overburden them. But as a CSR activity, they're offering this particular robot. So it serves both the purpose, testing also, at the same time it also helps the airlines keep their flights disinfected. Okay, now let's see this video. I have a humble request to the participants that please pair with this video, because this might be disturbing a little bit. It might give a second thought for you to whether to continue traveling in the aircrafts or not. But these are the facts and figures. These are actually the facts which we have always ignored while traveling or while flying in the aircrafts. So here it is, the Germ Falcon, which is a patented robot.
If you're traveling, you're thinking about plenty of things. Checking your bag, remembering your laptop and security, getting to your gate on time, arriving to your destination. You probably aren't thinking about getting sick. Bacteria and viruses survive on seats, armrests, and tray tables for a few days, and some even up to a week. In 1 week, 30 people can sit in one seat. 30 people who came from all over the world carrying all kinds of germs. The FAA currently requires cleaning the outside of the plane, but not the inside. So typically, airline employees will pick up trash and wipe up obvious spills because industry data shows that you'll complain about a mess. But any disinfecting or deep cleaning you optimistically assume gets done, like in between flights, doesn't really happen. Most airlines do a deep cleaning several times a year, but that doesn't really protect you from people on the last flight or yesterday's flights. The real problem is airlines don't have a good way to protect you from these germs. So for the last 18 months, my dad and I have been developing the Germ Falcon in our garage. The automated robot uses germicidal ultraviolet C lights and sanitizes all the surfaces you're likely to touch. When you board, you'll know that your seat is clean, and the bathrooms and galleys are clean too. If you're not familiar with UVC, it's a special kind of light used specifically for disinfection in hospitals and food and water treatment facilities. There's no heat, chemicals, off-gassing, toxins, allergens, or damage to the onboard materials. Unfortunately, you can't send you your own Germ Falcon, but you can help us make disinfection a daily practice for airlines. Backing our project will help out in two important ways. First, you'll be demonstrating to the airlines that you're tired of illness interfering with business and vacation, and you expect your seat to be as clean as something you would find in a restaurant. And second, you'll be helping us raise the funds to move from a remote control prototype phase to a production-ready Germ Falcon design. The next step will require a high-level mechanical, electrical, and software development to manufacture and assemble an autonomous, reproducible model. You're probably one of 3.5 billion people that will fly commercial this year, and we need your help to get the Germ Falcon off the ground. Please back our project and show your support for this solution. For your protection in the meantime, check out our Kickstarter rewards. We'll even send you some Petri dishes to check out your next flight. Thanks for watching our video. Please share this with your friends, and let's take a step towards making travel a little easier.
As I mentioned in the initial stages, this is a Swiss startup company of the father and son duo. We looked into the hospitals, we looked into the patients, we looked into healthcare, we looked into definitely the commercial places, the offices. We looked into the airline industry. The major concern for you and me as a common man, specifically if we have children in our house during this pandemic, specifically during the lockdown, we are facing a big challenge keeping our children occupied, specifically when they are in between the ages of 6 years to 9 years. This is the age where the hormonal changes happen, and this is the age where these children are really facing difficult times sitting at home, idling themselves, either they are spending a lot of time on digital media, they're spending a lot of time on television, they're spending a lot of time on mobiles, just to and because the parents are themselves busy, either they are attending online sessions, they're attending their work through online work. Plus, because of this pandemic, majority of the societies have stopped their maids, which is a very common culture in India. So the maids are not allowed inside the society, which means what? Even the daily household chores are to be taken care by the parents, and this is where the children are being affected. This was actually understood again by the company who made Moxie, a social robot, and this robot is actually helping kids with social and emotional learning. If you have actually observed my presentation, I am purposely mentioning the dates here, and all this, let me tell you, all this autonomous robots which we are discussing today have been originated or have been modified between the second week of March till date. So, this is what I want to emphasize on. Now let's come to Moxie. Today, a social robot startup called as Embodied. This is a different Moxie. Please do not mix it with the Moxie which we came in the initial stages, which was manufactured by the Diligent company, and we saw that Moxie working in the hospitals. This is another Moxie, which is a social robot designed by a company named Embodied, and a social companion for children specifically aged between 6 to 9 years. According to Embodied, Moxie is designed to help promote social, emotional, and cognitive development through everyday play-based learning and captivating content. Of course, it has got immense features. They've actually incorporated immense features in this particular robot, but it's obvious that due to lack of time today, I will not be able to explain every feature of it, but at least let you get a glimpse of what this robot does and how the children are happy interacting with them. Especially right now during the pandemic, both the kids and the parents need some extra help due to lockdown. As we discussed, it's but obvious. Moxie is designed to help all the kids improve their social, emotional, and even communication skills through relatively short daily interactions. Mind you, this is not the whole day. We are not saying that the children will be or the kids will be interacting with Moxie the complete throughout the day. No, but at least at short duration or at regular intervals throughout the day, when the child is with Moxie, he is not just spending his time, he is actually utilizing his time for very nice and interactive way to learn, to understand his emotions, to improve his communication skills, to even learn a lot of things and gain knowledge. Let's have a glimpse of this Moxie and how it interacts with the kids.
Riley. Hi. There's someone here who wants to meet you. My name is Moxie. I'm a new robot. What is your name? I'm Riley. It's nice to meet you, Riley. What do you do to get ready for bed? Brush my teeth and read a story. I love stories. Would you read a story to me? Sure. Rita woke with a lovely dream, still fresh in her mind, gracefully gliding across the shimmering ice rink. Last one. Breathing exercises always help me relax. Riley, we have a new mission. Would you make a drawing for me? Okay.
So here we can see the robot is taking care and taking over from the parent and actually playing with the child.
For you to tell me about the dentist. I've never been to one. You don't have teeth, but I can still smile. And then what happened? He said he didn't want to play with me anymore. for telling me about your day. Sometimes holding a friend's hand makes me feel better. Do you want to try squeezing my hand? So what's our new mission, Moxie? You'll need paper and a pencil. We are going to make some kind of notes. For this mission, you'll need to talk to one of your friends about what makes them happy, and then tell me all about it. Are you ready? I'm ready. Mom, can we invite Mason over to play? Sure. I have a new mission. We're gonna talk about things that make us happy. Bye, Moxie. See you soon.
I hope every parent will appreciate this particular robo and keep their kids happy. Sir, you have talked about a lot of domains, a lot of areas, but the major challenge every one of us today is facing is getting the essential commodities at our residence. People say you have to avoid going out, stay home, stay safe is what is the new mantra of today's lockdown. But then how do I get this essentials? If I go out, I come in touch with the people, there is a possibility of me coming in touch with others, there's a challenge of social distancing and lot many things. So what do? No problem. There is a solution provided by this Chinese startup company by the name of UDI. UDI deploys self-driving vans to deliver food in lockdown areas. How wonderful. Now, again, this autonomous vehicle was already existing, but they have modified it to a certain extent to, help us in this challenging time. If you see the structure of this particular vehicle, the UDI's vehicle is equipped with a main lidar and 3 auxiliary lidars, a stereo camera, and various other sensors on the top. You can see here, on the top of this particular, there are a lot of sensors here. There is a screen here, a digital screen here, which also, helps in the people to understand what it is, and it also helps itself to read the programming. The cargo compartment can be modified based on the items to be transported, and that's why this is an open chassis. Just like you buy a truck, you get an open chassis, and as per the requirements of your company needs or your goods which you want to deliver, accordingly you make the body of the particular chassis. Similar concept has been kept here. We see the chassis, the bottom includes an electric motor, removable lead-in ion battery. Definitely it's a chargeable thing. Again, environmental friendly, pollution free vehicle. Control unit is there, a motor control unit is there, electric power steering, hydraulic brakes, definitely, which is the very much needed in a autonomous vehicle or a self-driven vehicle. Onboard charger, direct current to current, direct to direct current converter, so on and so forth. Of course, let's not get into the mechanical part or the construction part. I just give a feel of it so that we understand how the technology works as far as the self-driven vehicle is concerned. Of course, today we are in the era of Tesla already on the roads. So this becomes like this might be appearing like a toy for us, but then see how this small toy is actually working wonders during this pandemic and how it has been utilized to the best of it. So for safety, UDI programmed the vans to drive at low speeds of up to 30 kilometers per hour, though they can go faster. These vans actually can go very fast, but it's quite obvious that being self-driven, they need to be creating safety on the road. Of course, during this lockdown, there are hardly any traffic on the road, but then post-lockdown also these vans can always be utilized. So they have been programmed keeping in mind the future also. On a few occasions, remote operators took control because the vehicles were driving too slowly, becoming a road hazard and annoying nearby drivers. See, every coin has got two sides. So similarly, technology also has two sides. On one side, we said that, okay, let us slow down so that it doesn't, create disaster or accidents. But on the other side, being too slow also was sometimes creating nuisance. So then remotely, the operators took over this vehicle because eventually, even though this is a self-driven vehicle, remotely the operator or a person can view it completely and take over the maneuvering whenever needed. Professor Liu says it's a challenge to balance cautiousness and aggressiveness in self-driven vehicles that will operate in the real world. All of us knows that even Tesla, to a certain extent, is facing many challenges today, and there is a lot of improvisation on a daily basis happening in that vehicle. Here in this, in this picture, we can actually see that this vehicle is also being used to sanitize this complete area. This is actually a hospital which is being sanitized in Shenzhen, China. So this vehicle is not just being utilized only for delivering goods or essentials, but in the night it is also, or maybe during daytime also, it can also be used to sanitize the whole area by attaching some spray pumps over the roof of the vehicle. Now let's see how this particular vehicle is actually operating during this pandemic. So there is one ready vehicle which has been customized. Its chassis has been customized for delivery of various goods. You can see the speed of this vehicle, and as soon as it detects any obstruction, it stops in between. It saw an obstruction, it diverted its route, and it's on its way. Again, there's a diversion, and see the speed at which it goes. Even the motorcycle or mobiles or even cyclists overtake it and go ahead. A U-turn, how beautifully it is taken. See. Even during night time, how efficiently it is actually operating, and you can booking is also done online, so that you don't have to every time get the vehicle at our go down and then feed in the program. Online it can be programmed and it can deliver to any geography of the region. This is what the beauty of technology is. I can actually go on and go on. There's so many robots, autonomous robots, which have actually come across and which have been modified in this just span of 2.5 months. And this is what I, as a volunteer of IEEE, is enjoying the flow, the flood of knowledge through a simple magazine called as the IEEE Spectrum. If you have observed in all my slides, I mentioned that all this information is available in this magazine, IEEE Spectrum, which comes as a complimentary with my membership of IEEE. And let me be very honest, there is a huge Pandora box of just autonomous vehicles which are being used during this pandemic. apart from the other technologies across the globe. I've just picked up a few of them due to the shortage of time, due to the lack of time, and of course the patience which this wonderful audience has. So with this, I take this opportunity to thank the organizers of this particular international conference for giving me this opportunity, the authorities of the Jain College, the principal, the faculty members, and each and every delegate participating in this conference. One personal request which I have specifically to the delegates, that please take the utmost advantage of any conference which you are attending or participating. The unfortunate part in today's lifestyle, what has happened is, we as authors, we submit a paper. If our paper gets selected, we simply look at the schedule of the conference. When is my paper presentation? Unfortunately, many a times it has been observed that we just go during that time of our schedule, present our paper, look out for the organizers, ask them that please give me my participation certificate, and we just walk out. My dear friends, this is one platform where actually which gives you an opportunity to interact with a lot of researchers across the globe, with a lot of other researchers who are presenting their papers, who have actually done the research. And let me tell you from my own personal experiences, many a times, because I have this habit of sitting throughout a conference, even as a delegate, because many a times I found personally that if I have been doing some research in a specific area, and in the conferences there are quite a few researchers who are also working in that same area, and I realize that I have never given a thought of research in that direction at all. Even though I'm working on the same domain, sometimes our directions are different, and we might not be able to reach our goals faster. But these are the platforms which you should actually exploit and exchange ideas, build up your network for future development of not just yourselves, but our own country and of course the human globe on the whole. So with this, I take this opportunity once again to thank one and all of you. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. Let me be very honest, during this pandemic, I have been delivering n number of sessions, but this is one august audience which has been patient. Not even a single mic was unmuted during this particular session. I really, from the bottom of my heart, I thank each one of you, salute you, and pray to the Almighty for the safety of you and your families during this pandemic. Please stay home and stay safe. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with the use of robotics in various fields.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. As we all know, the greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. Let us not do the same mistake. Every 5th of June is considered as a World Environment Day. So let us celebrate this day by watering the plant. I now request Dr. K.G. Vishwanath sir and Dr. S.V. Gobart sir and Professor Praveen Chitty sir to water the plant on behalf of all the dignitaries.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Very nice.
YouTube live.
Okay.
YouTube live.
Okay. Nice. Okay, right. Good.
Okay. Very good morning to one and all.
Good morning. Good morning.
I myself, Praveen Chitty, Dean Academics and Head of the Department, Computer Science and Engineering. I am here to propose the vote of thanks for this inaugural ceremony of INCET-2020. The best and beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt by heart. Thank you is one such prayer among them. I consider it a great privilege to propose a vote of thanks to all the dignitaries and to all those who have contributed for the success of this event. At the outset, I would like to express my profound gratitude to Dr. Chenraj Roychand, Chairman, Jain Group of Institution, Sri Radhesham Heda, Chief Operating Officer, JGI North Karnataka, and all other management members for their constant support to conduct such events at JCE and JGI. Today, my words are not enough to express the gratitude. I must mention a deep sense of appreciation to the chief guest of today's inaugural function, Dr. Karisiddappa, Honorable Vice Chancellor of VTU Belagavi, for having accepted our invitation and gracing this inaugural ceremony of INCET-2020 virtually and delivering a thought-provoking address. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I'd like to express my sincere thanks to today's keynote speaker, Dr. Vinit Kotak, Secretary IEEE Bombay section, for the informative keynote address. Thank you very much, sir.
It's my pleasure, sir.
I would like to express my gratitude and sincere thanks to Dr. Chankya, Vice Chair HSE IEEE India Council, for his words of wisdom through his distinguished lecture. Dr. Jha, who is always a constant source of inspiration for all of us and a backbone of this conference. Thank you very much, sir. I take this opportunity to thank all the invited speakers who will be delivering their talks in the next 3 days, and all the session chairs who have accepted our invitation and agreed to be present for this conference. Thank you very much, all the madams and sirs. I thank the captain of our team, JC, our beloved principal, Dr. KG Vishwanath, for guiding us in organizing this event. Thank you, sir. I also would like to acknowledge our gratitude to Dr. SV Gorbal, Principal, Jain College of Engineering and Research, Belagavi, for his support and guidance in organizing this event. Thank you very much, sir. A special thanks to all the authors, co-authors, and participating delegates. On behalf of JGI family and organizing committee INCET 2020, I wish them a great success and learning from this international event. I will be failing in my duty if I didn't mention two individual pillars of this conference, Dr. Harish Patil and Professor Sridhar Algi, without whom this event would not have been a reality. Thank you very much, Dr. Harish and Professor Sridhar. I convey my thanks to the print and electronic media for covering this event. A special thank to IEEE Bangalore section for technically co-sponsoring this conference. I thank heads of all the department, section heads, teaching and non-teaching staff of JCE and JCER for their cooperation in organizing this event. Lastly, I thank all my coordinators and members of organizing team who have been actively involved in successfully organizing this event. Without their cooperation and support, this event would not have been possible. Once again, I thank each one of you. Before I take leave, I wish all a very happy World Environment Day. Thank you one and all. Over to you, Namita.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Really, thank you.
Finally, I thank each one of you for being a part of this inaugural function. Thank you very much. Now, I want to make a small announcement for all the participants. Individual session will start from 11:15 a.m. and make sure to join 15 minutes before to the scheduled time. And individual meeting ID is also shared in the schedule. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.